is why you should always look out if there is a bear. Bears are commonly found in places like forests, dense forests. So if you're ever hiking, or if you're like ever in a river, or if you're just in a, or if you're just in a forest, or like any like forested area, you might want to look around because that is where grizzly bears lurk. There's this specific grizzly bear. Well, it's also known as the black grizzly bear, and it is feared specifically in Japan for being much larger and more aggressive than even a grizzly bear. The only bear that outweighs this specific bear is the polar bear. Polar bear. This specific bear is known as the ussuri bear. It looks much like a brown bear. It is also called the black grizzly bear. So in November 1915, there was a big, almost grizzly-like bear that was spotted stealing food in Japan in Hyoko. Hope I'm saying that right. I probably butchered that pronunciation. I'm so sorry. So yeah, the bear was shot and wounded, but it returned, killing an infant and dragging a woman into the forest to finish her off. Um, Her husband came, but he discovered the infant laying laying in a crib covered in blood, and his wife, she was never seen again. So that's why you should never underestimate a grizzly bear. These massive beasts are not to be played with. Although in Disney movies they are often portrayed as soft, cute, cuddly teddy bears, that's not the case. Don't let this cute face fool you. Grizzly bears are wild animals and they can't be domesticated like your dog. So if you're ever walking in a forest or any forested place, make sure you have bear spray or a rifle, because like if you don't have any of that stuff, bears are much faster than the average human. In fact, a bear can even outrun a horse, but in a race, of course, the horse is faster. So do not let these kid shows ruin your perception on bears. Bears are wild animals, not your cute cuddly teddy bear. So yeah, if you're looking back at cartoons, just remember how dangerous bears is. Cause in some cartoons they're portrayed as sweet, loving animals. Like let's say in Winnie the Pooh, they're often portrayed as sweet, cuddly bears. Did you know Disney originally took much darker fairy tales and turned them into happy-go-lucky fairy tales? Yeah, and Winnie the Pooh is actually based on his son's teddy bears. So there's Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, Rue and Kanga, and am I missing something? Oh, Rabbit. And they're all supposed to represent seven deadly sins, but I already covered that. Pooh is gluttony, which means you basically eat too much. Me too, I eat too much like every day. I always have to eat constantly a batch of food. You need to get your nutrients in, so don't listen to what people say if they call you fat. Just be like, I'm proud of my body. Tigger represents laziness, although he is super energetic. He barges into houses and doesn't even bother to pick things up. And with Pooh, he constantly eats so much honey that he constantly gets stuck in doors and windows. And there was recently a Winnie the Pooh horror movie that ruined my perception on Winnie the Pooh. Why would you make a horror movie about Disney fairy tales? You're ruining the next generation's perception on like cartoons. He constantly just consumes every bowl of honey. And I realized that honey in the show is spelled Hunny instead of how you originally spell honey, like Honey. And I love Winnie the Pooh, but I didn't watch it that much. I was more of a Paw Patrol fan, or Blaze, the talking car. And I was a SpongeBob fan. All those other cartoons, but I did watch what's called Winnie the Pooh. It was kind of a funny show. Also, Kanga and Root represent lust, and it's kind of offensive because it said they're the only females. And then, which is Piglet, I think it said he represents nervousness or autism. I'm sorry, I just forgot. I think Piglet represents autism since he's always nervous. So yeah, I recently just watched a new Paw Patrol episode about a bear named Benny the Bear. I watched it with my niece, and while they portray bears as cute, fuzzy teddy bears, just remember how bears are in real life. They are far from being a nice teddy bear. So just remember how dangerous grizzly bears are. But I'm sorry if I did ruin your perspective about grizzly bears. And if you thought they were cute and cuddly, I did as a kid, but now I know they are killing machines. In fact, also you do not want to spray bear spray on your tent because it attracts the bears. It doesn't repel the bears, it attracts them. Also, carry bear spray. And don't think running is a good idea. Bears are actually quick, fast. And they are just as quick on land and water. They are just as quick on water as they are on land. So don't think about swimming, running. Just grab bear spray or grab a rifle and shoot it. I would recommend shooting it in the head because some bears have been known to still fight, even with several bullets in their bodies. In fact, while you might think this is inaccurate, this is true. Bears are actually related to dogs. It includes dog-like canines or canids, like coyotes, foxes, wolves, bears, and mustelids, and wolves. So yeah, it includes all dog-like canids. And the wolves are also known as Canis lupus. So they are wild canines or canids. So you don't want to beef with none of them, especially a bear. I would especially not beef with a sloth bear because they have been known to rip people's faces off if they're threatened or startled. You do not want to startle a sloth bear since they have to deal with tigers, leopards, wolves, and other predators that might try to kill and eat them because they're smaller than black bears, grizzly bears, and arguably polar bears. But they can still put up a fight against a Bengal tiger. I mean, look how the bear just chases the tiger away like it's a house cat. The tiger doesn't even react. It just runs back to its mate. It's like, help me, please. They both run away. But the truth is, sloth bears only attack when they feel startled or threatened. There is one particular sloth bear known as the sloth bear of Mysore who killed dozens of people and mauled another dozen of people. It mauled another 12 of people. Sloth bears are named for their sloth-like characteristics. They are a bear-like sloth, a sloth-like bear, So they have sharp sickle-like claws that they can use for self-defense. Although they're smaller than grizzlies and polars, you make no mistake. This is one bear you do not want to mess with since they rip off people's faces. And they have been known the most dangerous bear. But in my opinion, a polar bear would definitely be more dangerous than a sloth bear. But at least sloth bears attack out of self-defense. When a polar bear attacks, it's just because it's malnourished and it's hungry. So do not beef with a sloth bear unless you want your face ripped off. Sloth bears also appeared in the famous Jungle Book, which I watched as a kid. It was one of the best Disney movies ever. And let me just say, black bears are the friendliest of all bears, but they can still attack. I mean, just look at them having a ball with this particular bear. The black bear is the friendliest of all bears, but even they can attack. Also, if you see a mother and her cubs, do not go near them. You better just don't even run, just walk away. Because if you run, a bear will probably think you're prey and chase after you too. So do not run. You want to stare the bear down or make yourself look bigger. But in some cases, people have done that, and that just makes the bear charge even again. So if you see a mother and her cubs, if it's across the street, let them go. Because if a mother thinks her cubs are threatened, she will attack you. So if a mother senses her cubs are in danger, she will attack you. In fact, you should feel bad for the cubs and the mother, because male grizzly bears have been known to kill cubs if they encroach on their father's territory. So that's why females raise the cubs on her own without their father. But yeah, if you see a mother and her cubs, just leave them be. Observe them from afar. Don't go near her cubs. If you want to film, just film from afar. I wouldn't recommend being close to a grizzly bear since they're massive and aggressive. But you don't want to be next to a Kodiak bear since they're larger than grizzly bear. Although they are omnivores and they don't have experience in chasing and hunting big prey. So we're lucky they don't eat moose, caribou, elk, bison, or any other animal. Kodiak bears spend most of their time eating plants, berries, and other vegetation than eating meat, but they will eat fish or salmon. Kodiak bears are omnivores, although they are often touted as the land's largest carnivore. They are really omnivores. They'll spend their time eating plants and berries more than requiring the effort to hunt and kill animals like other bears do. I mean, they kind of remind me of sloth bears, since sloth bears only eat termites and ants, like a giant anteater. Also, do not get near a polar bear because they are highly dangerous and they will eat people. And unlike every bear, they are exclusively meat eaters because there is no berries or vegetation. Although if they did stumble upon vegetation, they would eat it. They also eat ringed seals and even walruses if they get the chance to. So I wouldn't recommend hugging a grizzly or a polar bear or a sloth bear. You're better off hugging a Kodiak bear, even though they're bigger than all the other bears. I wouldn't recommend hugging I hope I'm spelling this right, a ussuri bear, also known as a black grizzly bear, since it attacked in mid-November in 1915. It attacked a woman, killing her infant, and it killed her. It dragged her out of her house. That's why I would rather get killed by something like a pit bull or a Rottweiler or something like, what else? A Kangal dog. Or I just don't know. I just don't want to get killed by a bear. I would rather get killed by a dog with the strongest bite force. And there is one dog that does hunt bears and other wild animals. It's called the bear dog, the extinct prehistoric bear that it looked like a dog but was built like a bear. But unlike in Winnie the Pooh, the bears don't just eat honey. They also eat the bee larva, like a honey badger. Honey badgers have been known to eat honey even when they're being stung to death, which is pretty badass for an animal who is that small. And they can even survive a bite from a king cobra. The only snake I think who can kill a honey badger is a large boa constrictor, like a boa snake, like an anaconda or a boa constrictor, since they use constricting to kill their prey. But I've even seen a video where a python was trying to kill a honey badger, but the honey badger somehow got out of its grip and killed the snake, and some jackals appeared. They were trying to steal the honey badger's prey, like how lions, hyenas, and leopards steal cheetahs' prey. But honey badgers are not even cheetahs. It's the cheetahs who impersonate the honey badgers, just not to get bullied. So yeah, bears, they are actually big dogs. And although they might look cute, I would recommend not approaching a bear unless you're crazy, or unless you've been with bears for a while, or or you've tamed bears, or unless you know how to, or unless you're a bear professional. Otherwise, if you don't know what to do if you approach a bear, especially if it has cubs or she has cubs, do not approach the bear if it has cubs. They will lash out at you. The mother bear will be like, sloth bear cub playing. Also, sometimes tigers also eat sloth bears, their cubs. So that's why mothers will attack the tiger. But obviously, a tiger would win a fight against a sloth bear. Sloth bears are weaker and smaller compared to a tiger. Also, tigers can climb trees like sloth bears. So there's really no escape for a sloth bear once it's being targeted